welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Along with the 265 linemen that will be in the territory tomorrow, the Danish Emergency Management Agency is currently in the territory assessing and coordinating with local authorities on getting the schools operational. Denmark's Minister of Defense, Claus Fredriksen, stated because of Denmark's special attachment to the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Danish government wants to assist in the recovery efforts. And in cooperation with the U.S. Virgin Islands and U.S. authorities, we have found a really good match between what is locally needed and what we have in terms of capabilities. The DEMA emergency team will consist of 14 individuals who will be dedicated to restoring critical infrastructure, including the rebuilding of the island's damaged schools over a 10 to 12-week period. Governor Mapp stated that re-energizing the schools were a priority and gave an example of a district on St. Croix that serves a large population of students and the elderly. Stephanie Brown reports.
In his nightly news briefing since Hurricane Maria hit, Governor Mapp revealed last evening that the Charles Howard Medical Complex on St. Croix would be temporarily closed due to a blown transformer hindering the facility from providing services. And the governor further indicated that the facility was breached with water. The Department of Health Commissioner, Dr. Michelle Davis, will be looking into an alternate location for the facility if WAPA is unable to energize the complex.
If we don't have a decision on an alternate location by end of week and can't get Charles Howard fired up, we're going to be speaking with the employees that would work at Charles Howard, the Department of Health employees, particularly those that are in the administrative section, in assisting other departments and agencies so that we can keep you on the payroll.
Further, after receiving $35 million from the federal government to support debris removal and power restoration, the governor announced that 265 linemen would arrive in the territory tomorrow.
And in my meeting with Mr. Reimer today, the plan is to roll them out Friday morning. So they've already been working on their schedules, their locations. I've asked Mr. Reimer to send me a summary of the breakdown of how they're going to apportion them in terms of St. John, St. Thomas, Water Island, and St. Croix.
According to released information, routine utility workers from Connecticut drove down to Fort Lauderdale on Sunday and placed their trucks on a barge headed to St. Thomas. Jeff Lyon, a member of the lineman crew, stated that he helped restore power on St. Croix in 1989 after Hurricane Hugo hit. Lyon and other utility workers from the nearby cities are all part of the power restoration efforts to begin tomorrow. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Meanwhile, the governor did reveal that tomorrow more resources were on the way to assist in power restoration. Here's more.
Prioritizing, for example, in St. Croix, getting the Central High School, the Herbert Grigg Home, the Superior Court, and the educational complex fired up. Because as you know, we really want to get our high school students back in school. So because they're all in the same general area, and that will also be the Elena Christian Junior High, which is really now at Charles Emmanuel. Hi, how are you? We want to get those places energized. And one of the things I asked Mr. Reimer to do across the territory, as the Water and Power Authority makes progress in energizing some of the governmental institutions and business corridors, what have you, if we have any ability, and we're going to have now the capacity because we're literally going to have these folks in town on Thursday, to light up any residences in the area that can be lit, any neighborhoods that can be energized, to go ahead and energize them. Let's not just concentrate on schools and medical facilities and courts and just leave everyone in the neighborhood later.
Now, Governor Mapp thanked the employees of the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority for the dangerous work they do. Over the weekend, Governor Mapp, along with many members of his cabinet and the community, attended the funeral services for the late WAPA lineman Jason Julius, who lost his life while contributing towards the recovery of the Virgin Islands. The administration shared its deepest sympathies and condolences to the families of both Jason Julius and Ishmael Harrigan, a sergeant in the Virgin Islands National Guard, and the Virgin Islands Bureau of Corrections, who died as a result of Hurricane Irma. Meanwhile, here's John Greer with the update on restoration efforts of WAPA.
On St. Croix Tuesday, crews energized areas in the vicinity of the Henry Rolson Airport on Feeder 8B, as well as on a double circuit of Feeder 6A. Removal of storm debris, which include downed poles, power lines, transformers, and fuses, continued into Frederickstead and Mount Pleasant, Williams Delight, and Two Brothers areas. On St. John, crews continued to rebuild various electrical circuits in Cruz Bay as well as in the Grand Bay and Gallows Point areas of St. John. On St. Thomas, crews made significant progress in energizing portions of several electrical feeders on Tuesday. On Feeder 6A, a circuit from the Randolph-Harley Power Plant to the UVI campus was energized, as well as the Sports and Fitness Center, the FAA Control Tower, and West Bay Supermarket. The feeder path from Banco Popular's main branch in Estate Altona westward toward Niski Shopping Center was energized. In Sugar Estate, crews are expected to install new lines on Wednesday on recently installed replacement utility poles. The area behind the Schneider Regional Medical Center was re-energized on Tuesday to include a number of medical office complexes in the general area. Off-island crews are continuing to reconstruct the distribution network that will interconnect WAPA's Tutu and East End electrical substations. This work is making steady progress as crews advance toward Friedenhoy Ballpark en route to the substation in Nazareth. An assessment now underway will determine the feasibility of undergrounding significant portions of feeders 9A and 10A. These feeders provide electrical service to the Crown Bay Marina, to several shipping companies, sandfill operations, and the general Crown Bay area. Restoration and reconstruction work continues in each district. The focus remains on reconstructing the backbone of the electrical system. The primary electrical circuits that are not currently energized must be reconstructed prior to service restoration to residential or commercial customers.
Commissioner of Labor Catherine Hendry announced that the last day to take disaster unemployment assistance program claims related to Hurricane Irma is October 30th, 2017. The deadline for claims related to Hurricane Maria is November 7th, 2017. The department has printed over 300 unemployment checks following the storms and say they plan to continue working on issuing unemployment payments. Thanks to longtime USVI resident Richard Stevenson, founder and chairman of the Cancer Treatment Centers of America and of International Capital and Management Company, ICMC, and his family, $5 million was contributed to the relief efforts in the territory. Here's more. At a press conference Tuesday morning, the Stevenson family announced they will donate $2 million immediately and pledge $3 million as a matching fund. In addition, the Stevensons have coordinated hurricane relief efforts, delivering medical supplies, food, and generators to the USVI.
It is our largest fund dealing with hurricane recovery to date. The generous commitment that we have for the fund is $5 million. $2 million will come into the fund immediately, and then there is another $3 million which the Stevenson family has offered to match when we have other businesses and donors in our community who give to this fund. So our hope is that this fund will grow to $8 million.
Tax-deductible donations can be made at www.edcreliefandrecovery.org. The Stevenson family chose to make the news of their donation public in order to encourage others to contribute. They are partnering with the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands in launching Help USVI Now.
As many of you know, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands is a philanthropic organization. We've been in the Virgin Islands for 27 years, and we are providing some leadership around the fundraising and grant making as a result of the devastation of Hurricanes Irma and Maria.
My family came to the Virgin Islands, fun and frolicsome, 30 plus years ago. Originally more in St. Croix, and then some know, of course, and you just mentioned that in 2003 we came here formally as residents and to establish International Capital Management Company with a commitment to this land that would be absolutely irrevocable. We're there, even though the inducements that brought us here were soon trashed and everybody fled. When we say we're going to be there, as we're saying to you today, we're going to be here. The evidence is we are here. We're building continually, opening the new business in St. Croix. This is our habit. We're a merchant banking family on 6 continents. Yes, we founded, in the memory of my mother, Cancer Treatment Centers of America. She died of cancer and shouldn't have. That's not our business. Our business is banking around the moral code. What do I mean by that? If you see someone less well off than yourself, and you're in a unique position to do something about it, without harm to yourself, your family, or your Lord, you step into the opportunity that's been uniquely presented to you, do whatever you can, and get out of town.
It really is about you and the difference you make, and if there's any way we can be helpful, please. Always remember that the Stevenson family and this Stevenson Hostetler are here for the long haul, and we love and admire you with every ounce of our being.
Governor Kenneth Mapp thanked the family on behalf of the people of the VI, who said their incredible generosity demonstrates a deep commitment to the territory. He said the family was not only to be commended for the significant donation to hurricane recovery efforts, but also for their ongoing endeavors to train and employ their fellow residents.
The leadership at ICMC and your company and what you do in the Virgin Islands, you blaze an entire trail. And your generosity here this morning belies your commitment to the territory. And we all feel it, we all know it, we all scream it from the top. Your employees, the way you shepherd the young folks out of school into your companies and train them and educate them and provide them with a future means your commitment to the people of the Virgin Islands, your commitment to the U.S. Virgin Islands is so real. So we extend a heartfelt thank you for all that you do. Irma and Maria brought out even more, not knowing there was more.
Again, that place you can donate is at www.edcreliefandrecovery.org. We'd like to say thank you to the Stevenson family. Governor Mapp commended Commissioner of Tourism Beverly Nicholson Doty, members of the Department of Tourism, the Virgin Islands Port Authority, and the West Indian Company for hosting the senior management team of Royal Caribbean Cruises, who spent the afternoon meeting with representatives of the public and the private sector to discuss the cruise line's continued partnership with the territory. Royal Caribbean provided 2 mercy missions to help visitors and residents leave the territory last month. Representing Royal were Chairman Richard Fain, President and Chief Operating Officer Adam Goldstein, President and Chief Executive Officer Michael Bailey, and Frederico Gonzalez Denton, Associate Vice President, Government Relations Latin America, Caribbean, and South Florida. After arriving in St. Thomas, Royal Caribbean contingent headed to Crown Bay to meet with Governor Mapp, the Commissioner of Tourism, Commissioner of Public Works, Nelson Petty Jr., Executive Director of VIPA, David Mapp, Chief Executive Officer of WICO, Clifford Graham, Crown Bay District Manager, Ava Penn, Julia Reimer, who's the Executive Director of WAPA, and members of the business community. Following that meeting, Royal Caribbean officials were taken on a tour to witness the progress made in preparing the territory for the return of cruise visitors in the coming months. The group toured Charlotte Amalie and Magens Bay before departing the territory Tuesday afternoon. The governor said hopefully in the next number of days we will be making a formal announcement about the return of cruise traffic to the territory. The governor will be meeting with the Department of Tourism and Port Authority to develop a rational strategy to handle the visits. He noted that the turnstiles cannot be opened without adequate infrastructure in place to ensure that visitors have a good and safe time and a very positive experience. While the availability of airline seats to and from the U.S. Virgin Islands is currently limited, the governor reported that his team is working to increase the flights to the territory. Meanwhile, all Crown-based center tenants are asked to remove their merchandise and property from the stores and or other leased premises in the center by close of business on Friday, October 13th. And that message came from Virgin Islands Port Authority Executive Director David Mapp. The Port Authority is conducting emergency post-hurricane repairs to Crown-based Center in preparation for the upcoming tourist season. Merchandise should be removed by tenants for safeguarding. Now, tenants with questions or concerns should contact the Port Authority's property management team. The number is 340-774-1629 or email crownbay@viport.com. Hurricane Maria's wrath has now claimed the lives of 45 people in Puerto Rico, according to the governor's press office. 113 other people remain unaccounted for nearly 3 weeks after the devastating hurricane swept through the island. Maria was the first Category 4 hurricane, as we know, to directly impact the island in 84 years. Let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, we'll have those numbers for you later on. Well, coming up, we have much more straight ahead. We have information from the Department of Education. How did the first day of school go? We'll have that information coming up next. Welcome back. Taking a look at the eye on the economy. Let's take a look at the stock market watch with the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we can see the Dow up 42, NASDAQ 16, S&P 500 up 4. 1,814 students and 271 teachers reported to school in the schools in the St. Thomas St. John district as it opened the 2017-18 school year on Tuesday, October 10th. Education Commissioner Dr. Sharon Ann McCullum and St. Thomas St. John District Superintendent Ms. Dion Wells Hendrington visited all six school sites, which opened to students, and reported that the opening went very well. Students attending the Adelita Cancran Junior High School who are in split session with the Sheldon Mali High School will be attending their 6-period class schedule on a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. For 4 days, classes will be an hour and a half long, and on Fridays, they will have all 6 classes for 40 minutes each. Cancran's principal, Dr. Lisa Ford, assured parents who attended the orientation sessions on Tuesday that Cancran will still offer all of its services to students while temporarily housed at CAHS, and further noted that the quality of education will not change. The Joseph Gomez Elementary School and the BCB Middle School, they began their school day with minor generator complications, which were resolved by midday. BCB's assistant principal, Michelle Wilkinson, proudly stated that through the brief power outage, teachers and students took their chairs outdoors and continued lessons. Now, the Havana Udoracan High School, originally scheduled to open on Thursday, October 12th, will be postponed until Monday, October 16th. In addition, some schools in the St. Croix district will also open on Monday. The St. Thomas St. John District Curriculum Center staff is now housed at the Edith Williams Alternative Academy, and the small population of the Edith Williams Academy students are housed at BCB. Students will continue to be served sandwiches for breakfast and lunch boxes for midday meals this week. Drinking water is provided at all schools, and hot meals are scheduled to begin on Monday, October 16th. Now, if you're wondering about the numbers for the St. Thomas St. John districts of who showed up, here they are. Leonard Dober Elementary School, 10 teachers, 95 students. At the BCB, 41 teachers, 327 students. Janie Twitt, 12 teachers, 82 students. Joseph Gomez Elementary, 26 teachers, 245 students. Cancrine School, teachers 73, students 175. Joseph Sibley, teachers 14, students 153. Edith Williams, teachers 5, students 4. Charlotte Amalie High School, teachers 90, students 733. Well, here's an update from Vitima and FEMA. Thursday will be the last day that emergency food and water is given out at the FEMA points of distribution. Governor Mapp encouraged eligible residents to apply for disaster SNAP cards and other assistance. They say as of Monday, FEMA had installed 282 blue roofs territory-wide, a number that the governor views as dismal. Be sure to count on 2. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, Lily Alvarez, who's the disaster manager for the American Red Cross of the U.S. Virgin Islands, reported that more than 200 volunteers have assisted with relief efforts. She stated that since Hurricane Irma, the Red Cross has provided comfort, shelter, feeding, and cleanup supplies to residents affected by both hurricanes. 65,000 meals and snacks have been shared, and 3,500 cleanup kits and 54,000 bulk items, tarps, bags, etc., have been distributed. Alvarez reported, confirming that the Red Cross will continue to work with the community partners, to plan long-term assistance across the territory. Well, here's another update. Remind you, unfortunately, VIA is temporarily out of stock on all the mobile internet devices, the MiFi and wireless modems, but they invited you to stop by the St. Thomas Customer Experience Center to discuss alternative options for wireless internet access. Now, CEO Alvarez held a press conference recently. Here's more from that.
Cable service, our head end is back up. We have cable service, but unfortunately, our network runs on poles. You know, it doesn't matter if we use the old-fashioned copper, we had fiber, or we had coax. When all the poles go down, our network goes down also because most of the service is in poles. Now, most of our channels are up. I will say 90% of our channels are up. We lost 14 antennas. We have replaced them all, and we're receiving the signal, and we're sending the signal to St. Croix. Okay, so St. Croix customers that have electricity, most of them already have the video service. This is Alcatel equipment, which gives you a hotspot at home that you can connect at least minimum 5 phones, 5 lines, 5 different computers, telephones, whatever you want to connect. You can connect 5 of them. This is free for any customer that's an HFC customer. And what we do is we limit the speed depending on the plan that you had at home. If you had at home 5 meg speed, we give you 5 meg at home. And we go all the way to over 25 meg if you have over 25 on your HFC at home. So we basically try to group people on 3 plans, which is the 5, the 10, and the 15, or the 15 and the 25. And we put the customers depending on the speed that you have at home. Service at home, I think people should take advantage of having service at home. And service at home is a lot sturdier than it was, but it's not ready for 185 miles an hour. And you can tell because in St. Croix we have some more customers up than we have here, even though most of the poles went down also.
I have one additional.
In other updates, the St. Thomas East End Medical Center Corporation has reminded the public it is providing limited services during abbreviated hours. The health center will operate from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. General services, with the exception of dental and lab blood draws, will be provided. Only the walk-in patients will be seen. Now, the health center will continue to fill prescriptions on site for free as medications are available. Otherwise, written prescriptions will be provided. In September, the center received a humanitarian relief gift of approximately $1.2 million in medical supplies and prescriptions that was donated by Direct Relief, a nonprofit humanitarian medical relief organization in Santa Barbara, California. Patients are asked to bring identification and updated pill bottles when visiting the health center. Persons requesting some medical records, you're invited to call 340-344-6834. A medical records request form, which the center will provide, must be completed and submitted with the official identification. St. Thomas East End Medical Center is temporarily stationed in front of the Tutu Park Mall East entrance. 340 Dreams Studio is asking for your help. After the strong category hurricane swept through our islands, it is extremely hard, they say, and they are in need of a van so they can offer to pick up and drop off transportation services for displaced youths of the community. Now, they have classes available for the youth to enrich themselves and provide a safe place, they say, and alleviate some stress. For more information, you can call them at 340-344-7752. Now, the classes they offer include recording, production, and engineering, video production, arts and crafts, photography, script writing. The hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., ages 8 to 17 years old. They're hoping to reach a goal, and they say once that goal has been met, these classes will be free for the remainder of the school year. Now, there is a GoFundMe account on their Facebook page. Just log on there to 340 Dreams Studio for more information. Now, many will be joining the Charm Kids fundraiser that's being held stateside called Healing Hands. And that's to raise funds. And those funds raised will go towards emergency relief efforts for hospital and medical facilities in the Virgin Islands and even Puerto Rico that were devastated by both Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Charm's founder there is Dr. Eric Stelnicki, who has been seeing patients here in the territory at the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic monthly. Now, he will be back in the territory shortly. He's reaching out to encourage many to reach into their pockets for this event for emergency healthcare needs. The money raised will go directly to the hospitals to help provide services for those in need. Charm will also be sending volunteers from South Florida to help meet the medical demands. General admission for this stateside event includes appetizers and cocktails. There are sponsorship packages included. You can log on to www.charm-kids.org/events for more information. Checks are payable at Charm, 100 Southeast 15th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33301. Coming up, the latest on the weather. A flash flood warning was in effect for the St. Thomas, St. John area early today. Is that still the case? Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, I think a lot of people today are saying rain, rain, go away. It's been a soggy day today here across the U.S. Virgin Islands. In St. Thomas today, there has been over 2 inches of rain. We've had flash flood warnings at times. Flash flood watches are still in place at least through 8 o'clock tonight, and you can see why. A plume of moisture sitting right over us. This has been responsible for that heavy rainfall, and after the recent hurricanes, as we've seen, a lot of the vegetation has been destroyed. So with the rainfall coming down at such an excess rate, that's where we get the flooding issues out there. So rain will start to taper off tonight, but we still do have concerns for flooding, which is why that flash flood watch will continue. I'm showing you our water vapor loop. The yellow is where we typically see the indications of drier air. You don't see that anywhere here across the Virgin Islands and even out toward Puerto Rico, just a plume of moisture. So still some unsettled weather to contend with. Most locations picking up anywhere between 1 to even 3 inches of rainfall here just within the last 24 to 36 hours. Again, into tonight, I expect that the rain will start to taper off here. A few showers in store for you. 78 degrees for the overnight low. We look at the weather for tomorrow. Still some spotty showers going on across the island here in St. Thomas. Spotty showers tomorrow, 87 degrees. Already in St. Thomas, we're more than halfway through the rainfall that we should have for the entire month, and it's still pretty early in October. A shower or two in St. Croix tomorrow. Temperatures topping out near 89 degrees. Not the best of weather to be out and about on the water here. Your marine conditions on the Atlantic side is looking the same as the Caribbean side. Waves between 2 to 4 feet, and winds are out of the southeast between 5 and 10 knots. Your extended forecast here will have scattered showers around right through next week as we are back into a wet pattern here. So expect those showers to hang around through at least Monday. Daytime highs staying in the upper 80s. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you. Taking a look at our weather picture there by Mackay Francis of the Great Minds Summer Learning Academy with lots of sunshine and clouds, Mackay. Thank you for that. Makes things nice and green. You can send in your News 2 weather pictures to the address right there on the screen, and then, of course, tune in to see it right here on News 2. That's all for this edition. I'm Sandra Gumansing. On behalf of all of us, have a wonderful evening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube for more. We'll see you next time.